Good afternoon and welcome. Today we're looking at the Riley Group, more senior benefits.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. That's Patrick. We'll get to him in a second. This presentation, part of the San Antonio Coalition of Veterans and Families. This is our YouTube channel. Our mission is to provide immediate assistance for homeless veterans. We work with other agencies. We get them into services in the community, but we want to get them off the streets immediately, get them into housing. You can help us, please hit the like and subscribe to our channel. Greatly helps us. Disclaimer, the coalition doesn't endorse specific products and urges cautions before purchasing anything. We tell that on all our presentations. When seeking advice about products or services for veterans, we urge you get multiple opinions so you can honestly and fairly make the best decisions. I would say that to my own children. Okay. Today's presentation, Patrick Riley. I had the pleasure of hearing Patrick present about 3 weeks ago. The Riley Group, more senior benefits. We have the contact information, the QR code to reach them. Okay. Patrick, before we get started, now you're a veteran.
That is correct, Bob. Yes, I am very proud. I'm a disabled veteran. I spent 22 years active duty U.S. Army. I spent my entire career in military medicine. I started out mechanized infantry as a battalion aid station platoon leader, moved up, commanded a clearing station for mechanized infantry, and then went to jump school and moved more into the airborne operations. And then was fortunate enough, the Army sent me to graduate school where I got a master's of business administration, hospital administration, and ran Army hospitals and commanded a combat support hospital. And Bob wound up on the Army Surgeon General staff where I was the project officer for authoring and awarding TRICARE contracts before separating active duty service.
And that kind of leads right into, I'm going to ask you how you got involved with what you're doing now, but I got an inkling from your bio there. So,
Yeah.
so how did you get involved with what you're doing?
Well, when I separated service, I went to work for a Medicare Advantage plan in San Antonio, Texas. Learned a great deal about the insurance industry and the civilian side, and then realized very quickly that veterans were not a part of the enrollment, at a very small part, and asked the question why, because Medicare Advantage is very good for veterans because they can use TRICARE for Life and the VA. And what I discovered, Bob, is that there's just not that information out there for veterans. And when they try to find it and contact Medicare or the VA, it's very, very confusing for them. There's a great deal of misinformation. So then I became a board member of the Joint Base San Antonio Military Retirement Council as the Medicare health insurance seat, convinced them to do a turning 65 event at Fort Sam, which we did. And Bob, over 400 veterans showed up driving from San Angelo, Austin, Houston, to learn more about how do you use Medicare with TRICARE for Life? Can you? How do you incorporate the VA? And I was amazed at the questions and answers of how little they knew. So I was on a mission, Bob, to provide education to veterans so they make the right decision. I reached out to a colleague, John Moore, who's also a disabled veteran, a former chemical officer, who was also in the insurance industry. We put our heads together and came up with what we call Operation Veteran Care. And that what we do now is we speak to veteran groups, individual veterans, to educate them to learn how they can enroll in Medicare Advantage for a zero premium, They can use TRICARE for Life for the prescriptions, so they don't need Medicare Part D and pay that premium. And then still use the VA if they are registered with the VA and have a disability. So how do you put all three together and such that you use the VA benefits such as home care services should you need care at home? There's a VA benefit for that. Then 100% of veterans don't know that that's a free benefit that they can enroll in. So we walk them through that. So when we get done, as a veteran, Bob, we show you, present you with a number of Medicare Advantage plans that are military you choose from, how to use TRICARE for Life for prescriptions, pay for your co-pays and deductibles, still use the VA if you have chronic degenerative diseases to be followed by the VA, and then, God forbid, if you need home care, how to do that and get the VA benefit. That's how we put the whole package together for veterans.
So, in a nutshell, what does someone like me, who passed Medicare age, but enrolled, where do we get started? How do we start navigating what sounds like almost a minefield of healthcare?
That's a very good question. The first thing I do is, forgive me, I'm a former paratrooper, so I would say, okay, Airborne, let's sit down and let's talk through this. So we go through a series of questions. Do you have Medicare Part A and Part B? Are you registered with the VA? So if you don't have Medicare Part A or Part B, then we've got to get you enrolled in Medicare Part B, because you can't even enroll in TRICARE for Life without that, Bob, or Medicare Advantage. And then if you're not registered with the VA, but you have disability or service-related injuries, or that you feel you're only 20% disability, well, then let's relook at that and see if there's opportunities to increase your disability rating, because I'm also a veteran service officer and certified to be able to help them do that. And then once we have all of that, then we start with, okay, who's your current doctor right now? Bob, are you on standard Medicare, or are you enrolled in the Medicare Advantage plan? And then that leads us on a pathway. And then what prescriptions do you have? What prescriptions are you using? And then finally, what part of town do you reside in? And then John and I do our work to find you a Medicare Advantage plan, because you might say, geez, I just found out I need 3 crowns, Pat, on my teeth. So then when we look at there are approximately 8 or 9 Medicare Advantage, Bob, that are written by the carrier for veterans. And they do that by providing a give back. What in the world is a give back? Well, everybody has to pay Medicare Part B. This year it's $185. Next year it'll be $206. So there are some plans that give you money back, say $185. So instead of you, a veteran, paying $206 next year, with the give back, you'd only pay $25. And then if you say, look, I'm going to have 3 crowns, it's going to cost me thousands of dollars, then I find you a Medicare Advantage plan that has the highest dental benefits. Some of them have as high as $5,000, Bob. Some have 500. So we're not going to put you in a plan with other plans that have better dental benefits for you. If you say you're diabetic, there are certain plans that have chronic and degenerative disease programs for you. So it really depends on what your health is, where you live, because then we have to find you a primary care group like a WellMed, Health Texas, or Conviva or Gonzaga that's close to your home. I don't want you driving 20 miles to your doctor. And then we ask you what's most important about your doctor. Well, do you want same-day appointments? Okay, so we make sure we have that. I want to have virtual visits. Okay, so we make sure we have that. I want to be able to see the doctor on the weekend, so we make sure you have that. I want a doctor's office that has lab and x-ray. So we check off all those things that you want. Make sure we're getting the benefits that you want from your Medicare Advantage plan. Look at all your prescriptions to make sure that they're covered. And then find you a primary care group that's close to home and a doctor, you may say, I want a veteran who's a doctor. All right, well, they're out there. Let us help you find them. So it's a very customized pathway that we put you on to be able to put all this together.
How, how does someone connect with you, and how do, this sounds complicated. So are we doing it by Zoom? Are you sitting in someone's living room? Are they sitting in your living? You've got a very nice background there. Are they sitting in your living room? How does this work?
Well, all of the above. That's a very good question. We will do Zoom meetings, for example, if it's a disabled veteran in a wheelchair or doesn't have the means to travel. I will come to you. I will meet. I have an office that you can come to. John has an office. You can come to an office. We prefer, John and I both prefer a face-to-face, Bob, for obvious reasons. So you get to know us and trust us, and we can spend some time together to get to know each other. I want to find out from you I will ask what's most important to you? And you might say, well, I have to have a doctor's office that was then, a 10-minute drive, or I've got 12 prescriptions. I want to make sure all 12 prescriptions are in the formulary of the plan, and they're all tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, so I don't have to pay additional for them. And then I remind you, well, we can get that through TRICARE for Life, so you don't have to pay for those. You don't need a Medicare Part D. So to answer your questions, we prefer face-to-face. We prefer it in our office, but we will come to you. I personally don't like to go to a Starbucks or something like that, Bob, because it's not personal, and there are too many interruptions. So, but I can do it via Zoom. I could do it do it Zoom if a veteran is home and he can't get transportation, or I can come to their house. It's really any of the above. We will make it work somehow.
Sounds good. How many times do they have to meet with you till you have a plan? And I know that's highly individualistic.
That's a very good question. We can actually do it in the first setting. If you've got the time, we have, with whom we work for, what's called our upline insurance. Bob has a platform that allows us to put in, if you give me your doctor's name, I put in Dr. Moore, it comes up, yes, he's accepted by this Medicare Advantage plan. He's in their network. Okay, so that's great. Then we put in each prescription by prescription, and then we come back and look, all of your 12 prescriptions are in the formulary, so we're in business. Now, where do you live? So then we pull up who is contracted with this Medicare Advantage plan for primary care group. It looks like it's WellMed or Conviva. Conviva has 18 locations. And Bob, look, they've got one within 3 miles of your home. That's where I recommend we get you assigned. Let's look at their physicians. And we find, your wife may say, I want a female physician, done. Then we find them there. So if we come to all of those solutions in the first sitting, which happens, then we can take the application online in that first meeting and get it all done the first time. Or I may say to you, because you may have unique needs, like I said, for dental, your wife is diabetic, there are some prescriptions that we need to get approval in the formulary, and some things that what I would say, I got to do some work. So then within 48 hours, John and I will come back to you and say, okay, we've got recommendations for you. And we would we can pull up on the screen 3 plans that we recommend side by side, and something called the explanation of benefits. We go line by line and say, okay, this has the greatest or the largest dental of $5,000, but Bob, it doesn't have a give back. This other plan has a give back of $185, which is going to save you that every month. But their dental is only $3,000. So we always provide you a recommendation. Then you make your decision. So usually in the second sitting, we can come to final decision and get it done.
Patrick, you sound like you really know your stuff. Heard you speak before, so I'm not shocked by that. Um, What do you like about doing this? You had a full military career. You've done a lot of things in your life. You're involved in other stuff, I know. What do you like about doing this?
Without any hesitation, and I'm not speaking for John, but John and I are both men of God. We've given our lives uh, to Jesus Christ, our Savior. So what we love most is finding veterans and their families who are just lost. They don't know what to do. They're on standard Medicare. They've purchased Medicare supplements with very large monthly premiums, Bob, or they're paying, going to CVS and Walgreens for the prescriptions. And when we take all of that and stretch it all out, and then they walk away without a monthly premium other than their Medicare Part B, but we've gotten them a give back to bring that down. A doctor's office close to home. All of their prescriptions are at no cost because we're using TRICARE for Life, and all of their co-pays and deductibles are paid for by TRICARE for Life. They're registered with the VA, so they're anticipating that they're going to need care at home, and we show them how to qualify for that so that they have no costs for their health care, basically, not basically, but literally for the rest of their life. And we keep them on that path and we stay with them and we check up on them and we make ourselves available to them 24/7 if they have any questions. That answers my prayers and John's and helps us sleep better because we know we're taking care of veterans.
Super, super. Anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to personally, and on behalf of John, acknowledge the coalition which you and Tony and Raz and everybody does for veterans. It brings tears to my eyes, and anything that John and I can do to help you to contribute to that, because this is very trying times, as you know, for our veterans.
Yes.
My oldest son, 3 tours in Iraq, Bob, 2 in Afghanistan. So anything I can do to help he and his family and his colleagues of his era is what John and I do. So that's my motivation.
Super. Appreciate it. All right.